Double Masters 2022 is responsible for the biggest scam in Magic the Gathering's history. On top of that, we have some other interesting news to talk about as well.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends! I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another installment of Mega Magic News. This one is going to be a mixed bag. We've got bad news, we've got good news, we have the Double Masters 2022 MEGASCAM, which is what we're going to start out with. This is mind-blowing. I'm going to put two images up for you on the screen, and I want you to understand that these are two wildly different products. Now, at first glance, it might not be obvious. Take a look at the two pictures you see on the screen, and without really scrutinizing them, just say to yourself, which one of those is the Double Masters collector box that has 4 booster packs, and which one of those is the Double Masters collector booster box that has 1 booster pack in it, right? Now, if you really start to dive down into it, you can see that on the right-hand side of the one box, it says collector booster, and it does say 15 cards off to the other side. And then when you look at the other box, it says collector boosters. But aside from the little triangle tent at the top and the fact that the S has been hacked off, it's pretty much an identical box. You really have to know your stuff when you look at these to instantly identify which is which. This is the closest that I've ever seen between a booster box and a single booster product, right? And we're having a situation where people are buying up these collector booster individual boxes and selling them as if they're collector booster boxes because it is a box, it does have a collector booster in it. So you have a scenario where there is a massive amount of scamming going on, and it's turning into this situation where essentially it's the biggest scam we've seen because the cash value of this. You're selling one pack as 4 packs, and these packs have a hefty inflated value depending on where you live of upwards of $100. Here in Canada, these booster packs are $110. And when you look at these boxes, it's very difficult to see the difference instantly, right? So people can also go one step scummier and actually use one image of the full-on booster box and send you the other one and then hope that eBay or whoever has to sort it out isn't going to be savvy enough to tell the difference. I don't think that it's acceptable to just print on the side 15 cards, rare and foil on this box, and pretend like that's enough of a differentiator. To make sure that I wasn't completely off base on this as well, I brought in somebody who doesn't spend all their time looking at magic boxes and said, can you tell any real difference between these just at a glance? The answer was no. And then when I said, can you tell me which one of these has just 1 booster box in it? And she looked at it and went, I'm going to say, is it the one over there that says 15 cards? Because I know there's 15 cards in a pack. And I'm like, so that's it. That's all you have to go on. And the 15 cards that it says there could easily make you think there's just 15 cards in each pack. There is nothing on this box to really differentiate it from the original, which opens the door, even if it has the proper wrapping and everything. Wizards has opened the door for mega scamming. Now, part of the reason that we're seeing this happen is understandable. What happens is everyday folk go into the Walmart and they just start stealing stuff. They start tearing open products, or some that aren't just going to tear the products open will basically come up with booster packs from the wrong area and try and scan them through as something else and say the barcode is wrong, or every once in a while, somebody who's stocking the shelves doesn't realize that they're putting collector boosters up and they look like regular boosters because Walmart has everything in those weird little cardboard sheaths, right? So this is what they tried to do to fix that, where they're like, let's make the collector booster very separate and different so it looks like it's just not a regular booster. I mean, this is the most expensive booster Wizards ever made, right? So having that sort of differentiation makes sense to protect the Walmart, but at the same time, this does the opposite end of it, where it hoses the consumer. What they needed to do with this case is legitimately just have it printed 1 booster on it, make the box a different color, and have a little view window so you can see the 1 booster pack, right? This is completely unacceptable packaging, and I have to admit that it feels so obvious. There's a part of me that wonders if Wizards knew and just said, let's see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't prove that they would do that, but they do a lot of throwing their hands up and going, hey, sorry that happened, when it seems like they're doing things intentionally. So what's to say they didn't, let's see what happens if we make them look identical. Will this push sales? How does it affect things? I don't 100% know the absolute reasoning and if that's why they did it, but ultimately this is very poor packaging that has made it so many people have already been scammed. This makes it way too easy to scam people, and Magic the Gathering is a super valuable product. It's up to Wizards of the Coast to make sure that the packaging they are creating cannot be used for fraudulent purposes, because at the end of the day, this doesn't just individually hurt the person, right? The person who is basically wronged by this is going to be frustrated and go, this isn't okay. But they can also just go, I'm done with Magic. That's one less person playing the game. And if that happens enough, it has a snowball effect and we no longer have a full-on player base, right? But the scam thing is the biggest issue we have to talk about today. The next item on the list, actually, since we're talking about the Double Master stuff, I want to talk about the etched foils because I've got an update on that. If you watched my previous video, you would have seen that everybody was getting foil anguished unmakings. And it was interesting to see the responses in the comments because a bunch of people came in and said, yes, I had that exact problem. Other people came in and said, dude, I opened like 70 boxes. I didn't get a single foil anguished unmaking. So I don't believe this is happening. And my brain just goes, look, if you open that much of the product and you didn't get a single anguished unmaking, then wouldn't it be kind of obvious to you that the anguished unmakings have all been moved into boxes? The reason you didn't get any is because somebody else is getting all of them, right? Like that. It lines up. It's logical. So, turns out that's not the only etched foil we're seeing this problem with. People have reported getting strains of multiple etched foils. I believe Weathered Wayfarer was another one of those. Now, it turns out, and people are having mixed results with this, so your results may vary. If you contact Wizards of the Coast and you explain to them the correlation issue that you've encountered with these etched foils, some people are being told that you can actually send those in and they will send you random etched foil replacements. So understand, you could get something completely worse than anguish unmaking. They just have a pile they randomly grab off of and throw into envelopes. I guess unless maybe you anger the person who works there, maybe then they throw something different in the envelope. Because let's be very clear. I want you to understand, when you contact Wizards customer service, you might be thinking you're going to be dealing with like super professionals or whatever. You're dealing with call center agents who have a rudimentary understanding of the product, just enough to say what needs to be said to you, and they're going to be given like standard responses that you just use. I've worked in places like this, so you can have employees who are really smart and know what they're doing, and you can have employees that are so brainless. I worked with a lady, we were working for the US government, for the US Embassy, helping people get visas, and this lady on the call center like phone told somebody, yeah, just tear the page out of your passport and tape it into your other passport. So I had to help this lady get this all sorted out because the lady I worked with was brain dead. So bear in mind, when you contact customer service, you could get somebody who's really smart and know their stuff who will help you out properly, and you could get somebody who genuinely doesn't even understand how it works. So if you get a little bit of pushback and they're saying we don't do that, be polite. That's the thing. Be very polite, because if you're rude, why do they even have to deal with you, right? So if you run into this situation, you can talk to them to try and get your replacements. That's a, hit or miss style scenario based on the individual that you work with. Now, the next item we have on the list is more D&D and Magic products combined are coming, and it looks like they're going to be specific D&D oriented. So we're not talking about Magic with a D&D set in the Magic cards. We're talking about D&D going to magical worlds and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Dominaria United and the Brothers War stuff somehow making its way into D&D, but we don't have more details about that. It's just a little bit of excitement. And speaking of a little bit of excitement, for some reason right now, there is a run on unlimited Llanowar elves. Specifically, I don't normally pay that much attention to the rumblings and the movings of the markets. I like to take a peek every once in a while to see what's going on, but I only really stick my head in when something nutty's going on. And when I heard for the last 6 months, there's just been a run on unlimited Llanowars to the point where an unlimited Llanowar is worth the same as a collector's edition Llanowar. And the collector's edition Llanowars are black bordered. Like, if you haven't seen the old unlimited Llanowar, let me put it up on the screen so you can appreciate the glory of the old days of Magic. The artwork here is so deep and saturated, right? Like comparing these cards to revised, you can really see how faded out things got. But on top of that, Llanowar Elves are cool because they have the word green on them, right? You go back far enough and they didn't actually put the mana symbols into the actual text box. They had the mana symbols up there, but they didn't know how to put them in the text box. So we used to get words. So the Unlimited Llanowar Elf is the last printing where you straight up just get the word green on there. And if you want to get like a beta or alpha, you're going to have to pay 10 to 50 times the price. So still, Llanowar has moved up there to the point where it's more, Unlimited Llanowar is more desirable than Shocklands and stuff like that. It's just interesting to note, okay? Next item on the list is the Dominaria United Story Blast starts tomorrow. I'm super hyped. We're getting 10 days of Dominaria goodness. And if you didn't already know, I have another channel where I specifically cover Magic the Gathering lore, right? And we're deep into the Brothers War story right now. And I'm going to be covering all of the Dominaria United story starting tomorrow over there. I'm excited about that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to discuss, we talked about the Post Malone Whatnot situation. If you didn't hear about that from the previous video, in real simple terms, Whatnot is a website that people go on to basically sell booster packs and stuff like that. Their fans will show up and be like, yo, I'm going to buy this booster pack off you. And you get like a personal experience, but it can also be a shopping experience. Now, there may be people doing other things, but that's just my experience of it. And since we're talking about the cardboard world, makes perfect sense. So, Whatnot basically is doing a promotion right now where they're going to give away $100,000 if you can beat Post Malone at a game of Magic, which is a really fun concept, right? Post Malone recently got into Magic. He's pretty deep into it. He's got that hardcore celebrity status, especially with like the younger folk. There's a bunch of older people like, yo, who's Post Malone? And it's like, don't worry about it. He seems like a mega chill dude. So they set up this contest originally. And if you didn't see the video that I did on it, it's kind of funny. They only gave a whole window for the contest to even take place, and they had a massive problem where the first day they set up to do it, everybody flooded the site, and I think like maybe a few thousand people were able to click the thing before the whole site just went a-doo. So on one hand, that's a testament to the power of the contest. People are flowing in going, Post Malone, Post Malone. But then they had to postpone Malone it because the whole website crashed, and they had to go, okay, you know what? Sorry. And then they scheduled for the next day afterwards. Like, they didn't waste any time. I'll give them that. They didn't waste any time. So they scheduled for the next day. A bunch of people were unhappy about that because apparently a number of people took the day off work to try and be a part of it. Like, they made it a big thing, and then Whatnot didn't really give anybody any time to sort out, like, we'll be doing it again tomorrow. And they did. They pulled it off, and they've actually gotten all the entries in and already announced a winner. Like, that part blows my mind. Wizards of the Coast says, hey, we're doing something with Mr. Beast. We're going to give away money if you play against Mr. Beast. And then radio silence. Have they announced the Mr. Beast winner, like, at all, anywhere? Because I'm somebody who spends my time digging for the tiniest little nuggets of Magic news for you guys. I am the Magic news aggregator. And I can't find anything about them talking about the results of that. But Whatnot not only concluded the contest, but they've already posted the name of the winner. What was it again? R6 Kyle is what they said. And these madmen haven't even changed the plan. Do you remember when I told you that when you won the contest, you had 1 week? The contest was on like the 4th, right? And then the actual event's on the 11th. So they were giving you a week where you had to get out to LA. They'll pay for it. But you got to get to LA to play against Post Malone, and you're given a week. So you go, well, I mean, obviously if they postponed it, maybe they added a couple days on. Nope, it's still going down August 11th. So I actually have to stop for a moment and give them a little bit of applause just for the fact that they went, we're doing this contest. Did it get screwed up? We're doing it again tomorrow. Okay, bam, we're in. Okay, we've got our winner. We're still on. Next week, let's go. Wizards of the Coast could genuinely learn from this because they're all about hyping things up. Some of you may not remember, they told us we were going to get a whole year of Post Malone with FNM. So whatever they offered him clearly wasn't good enough, or they didn't get him signed into a contract, or maybe he was out partying and they contacted him like, hey, we'd like to do an FNM thing. Yeah, all right. And then just has no idea about it, right? So like seeing something in the Magic world contest related after all of these other contests, especially run through Wizards, all flop. Nobody ever gets what they're supposed to. These guys have already declared the winner. And what is it? Today's the 9th. So in 2 days, they'll have resolved the whole thing. So I'll let you guys know what happens. I presume that Post Malone's going to be the chill kind of guy who's going to throw the game at the end so the other guy gets the money. Who knows? Maybe he'll beat him down and be like, you don't get nothing. I mean, that would suck for the winner. Let's be real. Here's how it works. You win, you get $100 grand. You lose, hope you enjoyed the trip out to LA to hang out with Post Malone, bro. Because that's it. That's all you get, right? I mean, that's still a cool experience, and it's fine. You know, you want to have some kind of aspect. But I feel like if it was me and I was the celebrity, at the end, I'd just be like, oh, oops, I cheated. I drew an extra card. Looks like you win, bro. Sorry, I didn't play my hardest. Sorry, I tried to win. And then I'd be like, guess you win $100,000. And they'd be like, you know, I would. Anyways, that, my friends, covers all of the news today. Don't let yourself get scammed. Thanks for coming by. I'll leave links to my Fantasy Geographic Lore channel and my Hatcher channel where I've been doing magic openings and all kinds of other silliness. It's pretty wild over there. If you want to come and spend some more time, you're welcome to. Thanks for coming by, my friends. I will see you in the next video.